I got married when I was 24, I think, and I'd always thought in the back of my mind that I'd like to have children around about the age of 28. We started trying to conceive probably a year or so after we got married. Obviously, I didn't get pregnant. I think occasionally I might have been a bit late and done a pregnancy test, but no, I never managed to conceive naturally. We went to see my GP and explained that we'd been trying without success. That's sort of how I found out that, I couldn't conceive naturally, and then from there we obviously went into the IVF program. During that time we were the healthiest we've ever been. I don't think we had any illnesses or ailments during that time. I didn't drink any caffeine. I remember stopping all tea and coffee. Alcohol, well, probably not, but you needed something to get you through the process. So yeah, just generally ate a healthy diet. It was a difficult time not being able to get pregnant when friends were getting pregnant and having children. I never felt bitter or saddened by it. I always tried to feel and remind myself that the more people that became pregnant, the more likely I was that it was going to work for us. When it became apparent that we needed donated eggs, we had very good friends, Johnny and Ali, who had come for New Year's Eve, and Ali said that she would donate her eggs. Yeah, I mean, it sort of happened fairly quickly after that. We got in contact with the hospital and said that we had potentially found somebody who would be happy to donate her eggs. They came down and we went to the hospital. We all had to be interviewed. We all had to undergo counselling to find out if, we were happy to continue. They managed to collect 13 eggs, all of them fertilised. 2 days later, I went into hospital and had the best 3 embryos put into my womb. So on the evening before they told us that we could do a pregnancy test, we'd gone to bed, and I think I woke up at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and rather than peeing on a pregnancy stick, I actually weed in a glass and we put the pregnancy test in, and sure enough, the blue line came up. And yeah, I can remember weeping. That was the first positive pregnancy test I'd ever had. So it was really emotional. And I remember ringing my mum in the middle of the night and sitting on the bed and saying to her that I was pregnant. So yeah, that's how it happened. Well, fairly shortly after my positive pregnancy test, I started bleeding, which obviously was very concerning. I remember sitting in the hospital feeling really anxious and worrying that, obviously having finally had a positive pregnancy test, it might end with, a miscarriage, which this is what I mean about the huge roller coaster of IVF. IVF is only a very small part of it. You've then got 9 months of pregnancy to get through. I saw somebody in the early pregnancy unit who basically said it was too early to do a scan. And I remember sitting in the lounge and Dad was making bacon sandwiches, I think for lunch, and just thinking, oh my God, I feel so sick. So I guess I was still having those pregnancy feelings. So that probably got me through until I went to the IVF unit to have my first scan at 6 weeks. I found out that I was just pregnant with one embryo that looked like a little cocoa bean on the scan. I loved being pregnant. I absolutely loved it. I know some women don't, but I really felt healthy. I felt attractive. I just really loved being pregnant. I know I'd waited a long time, but I really enjoyed being pregnant. Well, we were in some ways very fortunate because my pregnancy was deemed a precious pregnancy because it was donated eggs. We were recommended to have planned cesarean section, so that is the safest method of delivery for a baby, not necessarily the safest for the mother, but for the baby. So we knew what day we were going to have you. We got up in the morning. I think I was probably feeling fairly anxious, and drove to the hospital, got checked in. I think there's some footage on the video of me looking rather anxious. Obviously, what we hadn't done was, during all the scans that we'd had, we'd never found out what sex you were. You know, the natural conception, everything natural about it had been taken away, but not knowing what sex you were was the only thing that we felt that we could hold on to. So we didn't know.
What have we got? A little girl. Okay.
That feeling you can't put into words. That feeling that you feel. I think then Dad was given me to hold whilst they were stitching me up.
Kate? I've got all of you in there. And Dave?
You were always going to be called Grace because that name means gift from God. I can remember, you know, them saying it's a girl, and feeling just elated, because the one thing that always I felt was if I could never have a child, which I always wanted, I wouldn't be able to have the relationship with my daughter that I had had with my mum, and that to me was all I ever wanted, really. So I think I spent one night in hospital, and then we were discharged home the following morning with this tiny bundle of joy. I can remember feeling, you know, I'd never felt that happy, that my life felt complete. The whole process of IVF is a very long roller coaster ride. So at that point when I was handed you eventually, all of that paled into insignificance because I had you, and I had what I'd wanted for years of trying and not being able to have.
What a lovely photograph first thing in the morning. My family. Daddy Dave, baby Grace.
Shame about the camera woman.
And J-Cat. Just a shame I can't video properly.
Life is full of ups and downs and adversity, and I think it really probably helped shape me as a person, in that you should never give up. I mean, of course there are people who never have children who want them, but for me personally, once I had you in my arms, all of that, I don't mean it was insignificant, but that, you know, was then and this was now. As I say, it's really only when you talk about things in detail that it all comes flooding back to you in the emotion of trying to conceive.
we done?
What's the wrap?
Woo!